Today, we're going over dry bags and how to keep all of your stuff dry, whether it's kayaking, water sports, or anything in general. Oh, a lot of water to the boat. Oh no! Man down, man down! Oh! So to start it out, I usually go for the Pelican Case 1050, and this is just a really good size to put your phone, wallet, and keys in there. And then it comes with a carabiner on it, and it's also a hard shell, so it's going to be shock proof. And this thing is watertight, it will not let water in, and very durable. And then also in that smaller category, Bennett just gave me this Yeti sidekick for Christmas, and it's pretty small, but what I use it for is my DSLR out on the river. It's really nice. Has a Velcro top and then a magnetic opening. And so you can see it's decently spacious, but to close it up, you just do that. Next thing you know, it's completely waterproof. I'm squeezing pretty hard. So all the reviews and stuff say it's submersible, and whenever I first got it, I was like, I don't know about that. That seems pretty sketchy, but I mean, it's performed very, very well. Moving on up to the next category, and I still consider these small dry bags, we're going to look at the roll tops. And this right here is a 10 liter. This was my very first dry bag I ever purchased. It has a handy little zipper on the front. I personally have never used it. I just keep my stuff in the waterproof compartment, but dry sack has been very, very durable. And I picked this one up in tandem with a 20 liter. So on my very first trip I ever went on, I did 2 20 liters and then 2 10 liters. And that worked out quite well. The smaller size, the 10 liter, is good for packing clothes and more compressible items. And you can shove them in here, roll top action. Once you've got everything in there, you just roll this back up, clip, and then it has these nice little D-rings so you can attach it to things so it doesn't float away when you flip, because you probably will flip. And then for this bigger gear, you know, this is good for camp chairs and smaller tents. I have a 1-person tent that fits in here, but if you're looking at anything like 2+, you're not gonna be able to fit that. Grills, food, other various items. And keep in mind, guys, that as you get bigger dry bags, they become less easy to put in your boat. Now, it's more efficient as far as hauling gear, and that's why I have a good mixture of different sizes. And right above the 10 and 20 liter dry bag roll tops, you start getting into the more premium backpack zip up dry bags. So this right here is the Fishpond Thunderhead submersible backpack, and this thing can go completely in the water. You can see it has a T-zip zipper, and this thing is real durable. So when you get to these premium items, you're gonna see a material that's made out of that, like the whitewater raft, you know, those big old rafts. You're gonna see a material just like that used in these backpacks. Except Fishpond does a really cool job at making their gear. They use recycled fish nets to put this material together. And so as you get into the more premium dry bags, you're going to get fully featured equipment. So these come with backpack straps and then a chest strap, which I took off, as well as a waistband strap. And they'll come with, you know, stuff on the front. So I would imagine you would put maybe something that isn't water sensitive in here. It still feels pretty durable, but this is gonna stop rain. It's not going to stop a submersion. For this type of backpack, it's about 28 to 30 liters. I'm gonna be putting drones, camera gear, tripods, other things that I wouldn't really trust in a roll top. Even though I've never had any issue, I've literally had one of the smaller roll top bags float down the river. I flipped over and then I didn't have my bag attached, and it kept cruising down rivers for a couple miles. And then we found it it was like 30 minutes later. Yeah, we found it like 30 minutes later, and everything inside was completely dry. There's my bag. Yeah. Here we go. We're in business, boys. I've never had a problem, but when you get a zipper involved, It just feels that much more secure. Now, when you're looking at the premium bags, they are going to be kind of expensive. These MSRP at $300, I wouldn't recommend somebody go out and spend $300 right off the bat if they're first getting into the sport. But if you've been around for a while and you want to go into the more premium space, absolutely look at some of these options. Hold on, we have a huge gust of wind. But as an alternative to the premium bags, you can look at Sack Gear. They have a backpack that's, I want to say about 35 liters, and it's a roll top, but it's only around $60 to $70. That's a fantastic option. Guys, this is my workhorse of a dry bag. It feels like a lapdog because it's so big, but this is a 50-liter Yeti Panga. It has, much like the Fishpond, fully featured. You're gonna see backpack straps and a really durable zipper. This thing is awesome. Bomb-proof. You can completely submerge it. So right now I put my tent and all of my camping gear in there. I've started taking fewer dry bags and just moving up to the bigger space because my Ascend H10 is really good. It's like a hybrid canoe kayak. So I can just take a big old dry bag, put one in the front, one in the back, and then you're good to go. And it's just easier, it's a little quicker to pack up. And that way I can loan out some of my dry sack gear bags. But I've slowly over the years made the shift to the more premium stuff. Although there is a certain threshold. So like, I don't think I would get a dry bag over 75 liters. And both Fishpond and Yeti make a dry duffel that is around 75 liters, and they even make 100-liter bags. But to me, that's just a little bit too big, and you're not gonna have even distribution of weight in your kayak if you go that big. If it was up to me and I was gonna put together a first-timer's dry bag assembly, I would do 2 10 liters, 1 20-liter roll top, and then I would go for a backpack roll top that's about 35 liters. And then also one of those waterproof dry sack toiletry bags that you can just put assorted items into. And I have no affiliation with dry sack. I've just been super impressed with their gear for the past couple of years, so I'm happy to recommend it. I'll put links for everything down below as well. In an attempt to also save yourself some coin, I would challenge you to look around your house to see if you can find something that might act as a dry container, much like this protein container. I saw it laying around and I've started putting all my food in here as a screw top, and it's decently sized. And it's actually worked really well. It's completely waterproof. You know, obviously it's made from durable plastic. Then whenever you screw down this lid, it doesn't let anything in. Now, if you were to submerge it for some time, I bet you water would leak through here, but it's gonna be splash proof. And if you do tip over and don't have it connected, it'll probably just float along. If you're out on the river and you need some more dry storage, you're running out of space, look at your cooler to add some things in. So if you've been using the contents inside of your cooler and you have a little bit more space in there, feel free to, you know, transfer food from maybe one of your containers over into your cooler, and that'll free up a little bit of dry space because you don't always, you know, show up to the river prepared. And I can guarantee you, if it's not in a dry bag, it will get wet. Whether it's from splash or a flip or one of your buddies just splashing you with a paddle. He's just running around the creek bilging. Hey. It's too cold for a water fight. I can guarantee your stuff will get soaked. We actually had that on a recent trip. It was over on the Llano River. And my buddy Chris, it was his first time, and I didn't bring enough dry bags for him, and so he didn't have his tent in a dry bag. Tent is completely saturated.
Yeah, way to go, Bennett, thanks.
Bennett bilged all over.
Sleeping in ice tonight.
So why don't you guys check out that video right here and see what happens. Thank y'all so much for tuning into another one. Catch you later.